Okay, this is our second part of our video here, and this is to go through, we already added in our part one, we added a view, we added a controller, we added a master page, we added all sorts of good stuff here. So I am going to, apparently I'm going to increase that size there, and there we go. I'm going to increase that really quick, and then, alright, so let's get rolling here. I'm going to open my Server Explorer here because I like being able to see it and see what's going on. It helps a little bit. So yeah, so we create our master page, our home controller, and our basic page here. So yeah, so let's go ahead, and I think the next step in this application, let's add a model. So let's add a new class, and models are based just on classes, and you'll see how this kind of works in a second here. Let's add a new model here, and we're going to call this class. Let's see. We're going to call this a person class. Let's say, or what are we going to call this? Let's make let's make just a person right now, and we're just going to make a person class. And first thing we want to do here is we're going to be using the Entity Framework, so we need to include some packages. And the way to do that is you right-click on your application here, not the solution. Well, actually, yeah, we need to manage our NuGet packages, but we also need to enable this. So I right-clicked on Enable NuGet, and then this came up. It said, "Do you want to configure the solution to download and restore missing NuGet packages during build?" And we're going to say, yeah, we want to add that. So this is going to take a second here, take a little bit. And while I was talking about that, basically what these packages are, these are already pre-built packages that are made for us to allow us to do some really powerful things in our applications. And yeah, this is already finished. So, and I'll continue to kind of talk about this as we add here. So now we can add in our application. We can right-click on it and say manage NuGet packages, and this little window is going to pop up here, and it's going to have all sorts of pretty sweet stuff. And what we're interested in is the entity framework. You can see I tried to search it before, the entity framework. That's what we want, and you can see here. So I searched for it. This is how if you already have this installed. If you already created an MVC basic application, I think this is already installed in there, but we're going to add it manually. So you click on install here, and it's going to add some class libraries. It's going to add some dependencies. It's going to add some references for you, and you can kind of see what it's doing here. And if you look on the side here, you can see it's just dumping in references like crazy over on this side. So there's also some other ones you can see here. I don't bother too much with stuff like that looks like this or whatever, but you can see it as entity work extended. We are going to want that as well. You'll see why. There's ASP.NET Identity Entity Framework, and you can read the description on each side here, and it says ASP.NET Identity provides the use of Entity Framework. We need that as well. Alright, and that's going to be it. And now I'm just going to close this out. And alright, there we go. So yeah, now at this point we can say using system.data.entity, and now we are able to start using entities, and we're also going to using system.componentModel.data notations, and using system.web.dynamic data, and you'll see why we're using those in a second here. Data notations are used to kind of highlight some key features for entity models, and dynamic data allows us to do a couple other things, define like data types and whatnot for fields, as it builds a lot of the information for us. So this is our, this will be our class person, and this represents essentially a row in the database. So let's get started. So I'm just going to write that represents a a row in the we'll say in the set, because really these are in the data set, because really these are data sets is really what it's doing here. And to make that summary, all I did was 3 forward slashes. Typically you do 2 for comments, 3 for summary, and then when I did that, it automatically inserted that. So now if I highlight over person, a summary will come up, and I can easily look and tell what it is. So now we have a person. Let's see. So we need to, anytime you're creating a database, it's a good practice to build an identity row. So I'm going to say public, and all features basically should be public for your rows, unless maybe there are passwords or something. That's in that case you don't necessarily want to have direct access to those. So in this case we're going to have public int, and I'm going to say person. I can move my cursor there. Person ID, and then we're just going to say get set. We're just going to have these 2 modifiers here. And then we'll also have the public string person name. And we'll say get set and public string person address. All right. Let's see, public. Actually, I don't even need to say person name here. I can actually just say name, because name belongs to person, right? And so does address, right? So we have address. Let's do city. Let's do city's not as good. We're going to do zip. We care more about the actual zip. That'll tell us more about where they actually are. It's really redundant to say city. Public string zip, and let's do public string email. And let's also do a phone. And I think I'm doing this because I want to show a lot of different types of I want to show a lot of different data types that are available to you and data notations that are available. So, alright, so first things first, we're going to make some data notations here, and the way to do that is you make a square bracket like so, and you can see it inserted 2 for me already. And because the person ID is the key, this is the primary identity for the table. We're going to call this the key. And you can do all sorts of stuff. You can, so we'll just leave it as key for right now. And then we're going to say required. It's required. We're going to call, let's see. I'm going to say error message equals please enter a person ID. And this should never happen. This error message should never happen. And but it's always good to at least allow, especially when debugging, to have things like this. And then when you do releases, you can get rid of fields like this, because you don't necessarily want somebody to know that you have this column available in a table. So yeah. So person ID. And you can see I have some other things here. Error message, allow empty strings. We're going to say equals false. We don't want that. And then we're also going to make a display notation. I'm going to say name. This is the name of it. Person ID. This is how it will be displayed. And we're going to say auto-generated field equals true. And that'll be it, because this field is an identity. It is auto-generated. So, all right. So, and we don't actually need to tell it as a data type int. So let's go down to the next one here, and we're going to say required, and we're going to do a similar thing, kind of a rinse and repeat. And this is the error message that's basically displayed when this field isn't valid. And we're going to say name. Please enter your name. Okay. And then we're gonna, oh yeah, I almost forgot, and allow empty strings. We don't want allow blank. And then we're gonna say display. This is how it is displayed. And name. That's all it's gonna be. And auto-generated field is actually default false, so we're gonna leave it as is. I almost forgot to say name equals name. Great. And we're gonna actually also tell it, we're going to say data type, and then you say data type dot text. Now if you don't see this, available, maybe you'll see the data type because that belongs to data notations. If you don't see this enumeration, you need to include this this namespace, and we're starting to get lengthy here, so I'm gonna kind of rinse and repeat a little bit quicker here, but maybe I'll make a space so you can easily tell that those are broken up, so that'll be a little nicer here. And I'm gonna shrink this down so you can see a little bit better. And alright, so now you do required. All these are going to be required. Maybe we won't make the last, maybe we won't make a phone number required or something. We can see what the differences are there. So error message equals please, actually we won't make the address. No, not everybody likes to enter their address. We won't do that. We'll do display, and we'll say name equals address. And you can also see some other fields popping up here, but we don't really care too much about those. And we're going to say data type. We're going to say data type dot, and you can see it gives me all sorts of available options here. This is just a text. It's nothing too special. And finally, we're going to do a required. We're going to say error message equals please enter your zip code. And we're also going to say data type dot, and I can say let's see, it should be, oh, maybe they don't have zip code in this form. Okay, that's fine. Then actually what we're going to say min length, it must be, let's see, there are 5 in the US, so name parameters, error message equals zip code must be 5 numbers. Right, I think that's what a zip code is. And you can do max length and name parameters. Let's see, error message equals zip code must be 5 numbers. That's going to go off there. That's fine. You can see all sorts of stuff going on here. So that's the min length. It's the max length, right? You can see what's our we have an attribute, right? We want the max length to be 5. So it should be 5 and 5. It should never be greater or less. So, and finally, to really wrap this up here, we're going to do a required error message equals please enter your email address. And we're going to say data type dot email address, right? And that's going to let it know that it's expecting it to be an email address. And finally, I almost forgot the display part. Name is equal to email address. We'll just say email. It's not very common that you see email address. And finally, we'll do required, and darn it, I forgot this up here too. Display, see, there's all sorts of stuff. Name equals phone, or zip code, that's what this is, zip code. And then we're going to do required error message equals please enter your phone number. And display will be, I'm going to zoom down, go down here. Display name is equal to phone. And then we'll also do data type dot phone number. There we go. There, and now this is our first model. So it takes a little bit even just to create a model, and really what this is telling us is that this is building a row essentially all just in code. So we instead of doing this in like SQL Server, if you will, or Data Management Studio or anything like, or Database Management Studio. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah. So instead of actually manually building the tables, this is going to build a lot of stuff for us, and it's going to enter us into the data set. It's going to create its own data sets and everything. So I'm going to let that be the end of this video, just building the first model, and in the next one we'll get into actually creating the set and displaying the information.